Okay, so I'm going mobile. I'm on mobile, so I'm gonna see if I can hear myself. Let me see. Turn this up. Okay, so I'm going. Okay, let me just. Okay. So I hear a lot of talk now in these YouTube streets. Everybody firing up live streams, going back and forth because Uppity Unicorn then brought this conversation up about slut shaming. Um, really, I brought it up because I went on the panels and said everybody when they're arguing they need to stop slut shaming one another because y'all, I felt like Women's Spirit Podcast and Uppity Unicorn both had uh very very uh just not good sexual history that we can look at, from the internet, like, and Woman's Spirit talks about her having three different baby daddies, and then Uppity Unicorn just likes sending news. She's sending them nudes, and people need to look at the wider scale of things because, like I said on a couple of panels now, this is a very nuanced conversation that a lot of people just aren't understanding. Um, what's up, Jason Rose? What's up? What's up, Sugar Bum? So this is a very nuanced conversation that a lot of people just aren't really privy to having because they're looking at it from a red pill perspective, um, or low key a red pill perspective, where they just feel like women need to cover up, or certain women don't need to be certain in certain pictures, or you just ultimately put yourself in danger. But you just put yourself in at danger or at risk um, when you put these different type of pictures out and certain behaviors that you do. And the reason why I say there's nuances to this conversation because number one, it depends on what that person's intentions is, and it depends on what they want out of this situation and what is the outcome. Okay, some women know how to hold their L, okay, and then some women don't because they miss the mark that the L. Here's the L about the whole thing. The whole L is that you are a woman and you are subjugated to all these different opinions and things of that nature because people are going to call you a Jezebel. There's so many accounts and stories and see, there's so many stories of women. My fault, y'all. I was trying to get my son together. But there's so many stories of women. Stop. There's so many accounts of women before they even had the chance to have sex or even see what a penis looks like. They were called a whore, a slut, a Jezebel, and stuff like that. And not even just because what their parents, the type of clothes their parents put on them. And then I see a lot of comments from so-called parents that call all other black children names. So I'm ready to turn him up for playing with this door because I'm not playing with him. And people can have their own thought processes and opinions, but sometimes people thought processes and opinions doesn't make any sense when you have a whole generation of women who complain about the same thing, that before they even had sex or even know what a penis looks like, someone calling them a whore or Jezebel or something like that. And that's terrible to say to little girls. And what a lot of people misconstrue is the fact that little girls do all types of activities and stuff like that. That's for little girls, like playing, dancing, doing sports, and they gymnastics, being a ballerina. There are certain dance clothes that they'll wear. They might take pictures. There might be a video. There might be that they might have a whole performance, and you'll have adults who'll say, "Oh, they don't need to be wearing that" and stuff like that. And it's just like, in all types of in countries. There's countries where if a woman shows her ankle, she is gonna be called a whore and probably stoned or whatever the fuck, or at least shunned at the most. You know what I'm saying? Feminism is growing in even other countries or whatever, even the most strictest countries. However, there's still a hurdle to be had about that or whatever. And when you really realize how blessed you are to to be born in the Western world as far as that is concerned and things of that nature, you really start to understand how bad slut shaming can be. So you start to change the trajectory. You start to change how you speak. You start to change uh, how you talk about women, even when you're roasting them or whatever. Like, I see so many women here judging one another about something that somebody posted while also saying, oops, I have a picture with me just showing some cleavage. But you're conservative though. If you was conservative, you'll be dressed from your head to your feet. A lot of people throw certain things in their face and they're like, this is just how I am. But that's just how you are, yes. But understand that a lot of women don't understand. They kind of dangle that over their people's faces or whatever. Oh, I've never been called this because I didn't do that. Or even if I was called this, I know for certain that I wasn't doing this thing. But you misunderstand that the men in the manosphere and all these other stuff. And so we see it all grow. We see it all grow with our own eyes. And so, what black women come together, what we can come together and agree on and talk about and slap titties with, is the fact that we know these men are wrong. But majority of those men feel like all women are hoes. All women are hoes. And so once you understand in most men's eyes, because you showed a little bit of cleavage, you're still a hoe and you're still looked at as sexual object. But then you look at other countries where women are dressed from head to toe, and those are the countries where women get raped the most. And it's like, why do they get sexually assaulted the most? Why in countries where women are dressed from head to toe are they raped the most? So we just gonna skip over that. So we just gonna skip the fact that in countries, these are the countries where women are dealing with a misogyny so high that we can't understand. And then so is that progressive living that type of conservative? Okay. That's why we must rid ourselves of the slut shaming. Okay. I don't like slut shaming because I understand that once you start normalizing slut shaming just because somebody is an adult, okay, then you start slut then somewhere else somebody can call a little girl fast. Okay, because if you and no, people don't hold men to the same standards, and until society holds men to the same standards, then maybe we can start normalizing slut shaming. But I will never slut shame a woman until society holds men to the same standards they hold women. Stop trying to push this narrative that because women are the so-called weaker vessels and we so-called receive more, to try to shame us into not loving our true selves and not embracing our true selves. Everything that we do as women is deemed as Jezebel. When you look into the spirit of Jezebel, when you look at what Jezebel did, all the fuck she did was not want to deal with Yahweh. It's the bitch put on red lipstick. But do you know what why red lipstick is associated with witchcraft? Because because when you put it on, it opens up your root chakra. Look up what your root chakra is. Do you know what it looks like? What it's supposed to be imitating when you put on your red lipstick? What it look like? Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Hold on, y'all. I gotta use that. And see, y'all know me. Y'all know I was fascinated with Kendra G when I first came on here. My fault, y'all. I just had to step out in the hallway real quick. I know I was obsessed with Kendra G and how she used to talk shit with that fucking ruby red lipstick on. Exactly. It sugar bum. It's like I don't do that for real. And it's just like people don't have no intellectual, intellect with it. Okay. Because when you approach this ugly situation, they use it as a door, as a doorway to start slut shaming all women and start trying to control all women. And all I said when I went up on the panel is, uppity unicorn failed on all levels because this is the man who already showed you who he was and who he was about. And my whole point was, because uppity gonna come back and was like, I never sent news to O'Shea. I don't give a fuck. That's not the point. All I said was, based off how O'Shea talks, you became an enemy to black women when you wanted him to see anything funny, cheeky, or halfway sexy or decent on your body. Before you send him that picture, you should have put Dookie on your collarbone. I don't trust you. Because that's what he looked like, Dookie on somebody's collarbone. He looked like a Dookie face. That's why we call him O'Shea Dookie face. Like, stop these games. Like, stop acting like she should have sent him a picture of her walking after she walked outside. I'm gonna keep saying it. She should have sent him a picture of her after she walked outside. Her feet got all dirty, looking like slave feet, because that's all the pictures she deserved. He don't deserve no tongue-in-cheek pictures of your collarbone. Like, I'm not playing. That's the type of standard that I hope. That's the type of standard that I have for all women, even sex workers. Okay, I would even like Bossy Empress TV because what she do or whatever, because I feel like she take it too far. Because that's not my own personal journey. However, the way she talk on here, she should have her life in order. That's my only problem with her being a sex worker. That's number one. Number two, you're not gonna find no nigga on here talking about they got Bossy Empress nudes, at least the dudes, until they came out of pocket for it. Especially these dudes in this space who talk crazy about black women. See, we want to make it an issue about it's a separate issue because what you have to understand is Up the Unicorn is the same type of bitch that was calling Kevin Samuels, getting him the exposure that he still wanted and he didn't need. Because we already know he's full of shit. But this is the type of woman that would send him something and stuff like that, thinking it's funny and stuff like that, and then try to blame it on her autism, her risque behavior. And the reason why I call it risque behavior is because you're dealing with men that can completely disrespect you and sell your news on the internet. You want to talk to dudes in a manosphere like you're weird. What's up, Robbie? And so when women is in certain spaces and they don't hold themselves to a standard to not even talk to Jews that is openly misogynistic, that's when you fall to your death. That's when you done lost me. That's when those are the women that should be shamed and outside the community, the goddamn mules, the ones that won't hold. I believe won't even hold the man accountable who really put her in this mess. You was in a whole relationship. You was pursuing a woman. And you knew you knew who the fuck your woman was. You knew that bitch was crazy. Okay, you knew that bitch was crazy, and you didn't even stop her. That's my thing. And a lot of people like hold the men accountable and stuff like that. I'm holding her accountable because she keep talking about whether she keep putting her business online in the space where don't nobody care. The people is going slut shame you in this space. That's the whole thing about it. Especially the type of men that you sending in to. You said it dudes. You're not even sending dudes to that trying to act like he cared about black women. That's the problem that I have. Black women need to stay on goal as far as dealing with men. If you're dealing with a man that's openly misogynistic and that's talking crazy like this because a man, the whatever man, the last man that blew Cynthia G back out, he do not want nobody on the internet to know who the fuck he is. Okay, that's even if you getting it. But see, you just out there with it. That's the whole problem. What men who really don't respect women and you don't care. And you expect sympathy, but you expect sympathy from you slutting yourself out. And you slutting yourself out with men who openly disrespect women, then I don't have no sympathy for you. And you don't give a fuck. You continue to blame the women like they put you in this situation and they didn't. That's the whole issue. That's really the whole issue. It's just the same thing if something happened. Like it's just the same thing if something happened. Like, oh, the type of woman that uppity unicorn is, yo, she is weird, yo. You wanted that attention, okay? Women. That's why women have to start embracing themselves. That's why I call them trying to get respect. It's just not her age. It's the fact that she do what she do and she don't care. You're not going to get the proper respect until you respect yourself and start loving what you do. Uppity is the type of bitch that she wouldn't cry foul after she didn't put herself in a terrible situation with men that's overly misogynistic. See, men that hide their misogyny, I feel bad for those women because they didn't know. You know what I'm saying? They was led into a trap. You know what I'm saying? Uppity, she was never groomed to send any type of sexual or sensual pictures to anybody. Okay? She was never groomed. Nobody had to pretend. These men was very open about the type of stuff they was into. Okay? And we felt bad because Taz was just running around here doing it to everybody, but you still won't hold Taz accountable because you still in love with these type of men. You put yourself in a chokehold as a woman, right? When you try to sit here and also don't hold men accountable. You have to pick a struggle. You can't not embrace who you is as a whore or a Jezebel. And that's the type of stuff that you're into. And this is the problem. Okay. I've watched too many episodes of Law and Order SVU. And then she didn't talk about then she don't want to talk about her real history with the situation. You have to be honest. And then on top of that, you have to create alliances with other women. When it was time for Uppity to create alliance with Women's Sphere, she still wanted to blame her for something else. It's just like no. Once it's like no. She keeps saying men is her safe place. Once you've already made women your place of danger, then you've already set yourself apart. Okay? If men is your safe place, then you go ask a man to apologize for what happened to you, and you get the men that's sending you the news to protect you. But don't ask black women. Stop asking black women to feel bad for you. We don't. Uppity. Then this is the issue. You can do what you want, but you can't not embrace who you are and then try to cry foul. When we know what you was doing, we know that you were abused on the low level. And this is the problem. This is women that's sexual liberated, that's really taking their sexual liberation to men who don't deserve it. And then they sit in there like, men is my safe place, so why don't the sisterhood help me? Because you don't deserve it. Because you was never over here with us. Right? You have to embrace your whoreness and your place in the sisterhood. And then you have to make it right by opening your mouth and making your presence known. Uppity does neither of those things. Or you can just let it go, but you choose not to. You run around here talking about you going talking about you going to see people who we know you're not going to see uppity. You already admitted that you really don't have all that. Got people who already chose a side that was already like fuck woman spirit. Basically like fuck you too because we see the hypocrisy. We see that you won't fully embrace your whoreness. But you want to embrace it when it's beneficial to you because you want to be in these misogynistic men's faces because you're more mad at women than you is at men. It's a lot of women is mad at double standards instead of trying to break those double standards and embracing the labels that men put on us, no matter what type of actions match up with that label or not. Even if our actions don't match up with our actions and we're not being whorish, we're still being a whore. But you being afraid to embrace that and then wanting sympathy for us, no, we're not going to do that. We just not uppity. We just not going to give a fuck about you. And this is the conversation that's making me mad that y'all not understanding. And see what y'all don't understand is that okay, uppity would not protect you if you was in this situation because that's the type of bitch she is because she already aligned herself with the men of the manosphere and with men's spaces. She haven't even aligned herself with feminine spaces. So why would she get feminine protection and she shouldn't be getting your protection because the same dudes that's going at you, she send a sensual pic to. And that's the hypocrisy in itself. That's the biasness in itself. She's not really ready to embrace her full blown femininity. She's not. Once you're ready to embrace your full blown femininity, she keeps talking down on black women empowerment. But then she wanted to be but then she wanted to see that to table at black women empowerment and wanted to have a conversation that was going to empower her and that was going to empower her in her sexual activities or sensual activities, I should say, because she keeps saying she said just a sexy picture to somebody. See, you want the benefit of the sisterhood, but you don't want to be there. And you don't want to put that work in, and you don't want to be there the same way that black women is there for you. You want black women to be there for you, but you can't be there for us. I just don't understand. I just don't understand why. What is she seeking at this point? Like she's seeking for sympathy that she doesn't deserve. Bomb, she does what she does. She puts her pictures out there, and whatever happens to those pictures, she don't care. But if you care about what happens to your pictures, then ma'am, you need to cover up. If you care what happens to your picture, then ma'am, if you care what happens to your pictures, then ma'am, who cares? Because you already decided that this is what you were gonna do. So if you're not gonna change your behaviors, but you also are not going to sit with the women, then you're sitting alone once again, dealing with what you're dealing with. Peace out.